I got tagged in this video. When I first started watching it, I really wasn't sure why. I was like, okay, cool. She's making a little Valentine's Day chocolate covered strawberry treat. Like, that's cool, right? Like, it wasn't until I got to this part in the video that I was like, oh, that's why I got tagged in this video.
Heat that up until it's nice and steamy. Just like that.
But I'm Beatrice, I'm the anti-plastic lady, and my entire channel is just talking about the studies that are all publicly available to everybody about how incredibly toxic plastic is. And then when I got into the comments, that's the part where I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a response video to talk about this. And so this comment made me laugh. Those containers are polypropylene and are inherently BPA free, meaning they physically don't have the ability to leak icky chemicals into food because said chemicals aren't there. Okay, whew, wow, so much to unpack there. And then when I responded saying that polypropylene has 633 chemicals that have been proven to be harmful to human health, what did he respond? He said, oh, that I was fear-mongering. Again, people, what is the Dunning-Kruger effect? Like, the most uninformed people are the most confidently incorrect. And so let's talk about plastic, Jordan Hauser. One thing that I don't think a lot of people understand is that every single type of plastic has its own different recipe, okay? You have those polymer bonds and then you have additives, and it is those additives that actually gives plastic its different characteristics. So that is why a plastic water bottle is different than this, which is different than a Lego piece that came in this plastic container, which is also different than the foam in your couch, which is also different than Crocs shoes, right? All of those are different kinds of plastic. And yes, they have different base polymer ingredients, but they also have lots of different additives. And guess what? It gets more complicated because even between different manufacturers, they will have different recipes, just like the recipe that this gal was using to make her chocolate covered strawberries, okay? But those chemical additives, those are not bound to the plastic itself. The polymer bonds are bound, obviously, but those additives are just kind of sprinkled in. So those additives come out really, really easily. And there are thousands of additives in every single type of plastic. But on top of that, you also have microplastics. Now, why am I holding this? This is a macroplastic, okay? But microplastics basically are just the tiny, tiny particles of plastic just broken down to tiny, tiny pieces, so small, in fact, that they can infiltrate our cells and different tissues within our body. We breathe them in, we eat them, we drink them, we can even absorb them through our skin. And those microplastics have been found to cause lots of different types of cancer, increase our risk of heart attack, stroke, death, directly linked to colon cancer, lots of other types of cancer, just tons of bad stuff. And that is just the physical particles of plastic, much tinier than this, not including the additives. So we know that of the 1,835 chemicals that are present in polypropylene, 29 of those chemicals are not hazardous, okay? That's 2%. We also know that 633 chemicals are hazardous to human health, okay? That's 45% of the chemicals, okay? But what about all the rest? Well, we don't have any safety data on them. 52%. So they could be really dangerous. We don't know. So there are more chemicals in polypropylene that we don't know whether or not it's bad for us than the ones we know for sure are bad for us. And there are tons of studies. In fact, all of these, there's so many that I screenshot how many there were, proving that specifically lots of hazardous chemicals come out of polypropylene. There was even new substances created within the polypropylene container when it was microwaved. Like, didn't exist before, but literally additives bound together through microwaving and created new substances. That study just came out. We also have studies showing that there are millions of microplastics that come out from a polypropylene container, especially when there's a dairy product that is heated, right? That's tons of microplastics that you didn't need in your life. It's completely unnecessary because, again, this gal could have just heated this cream in Pyrex. She did not need to do that in plastic. Completely unnecessary, right? And so, again, this idea that plastic is totally safe, like that it has unequivocally been proven false, and like has been proven false for a really, really long time. And at this point, to blame other people and use terms like fear mongering when you yourself are the ignorant person that hasn't read any studies, you haven't even Googled it. At this point, stating that plastic is completely safe is the equivalent of being like a flat earther. So yeah, at the end of the day, don't heat things in plastic. Really, really easy. And also, you should try reading before commenting so confidently and so incorrectly about something that you know nothing about, right?